Welcome to Meradius Transformation Sessions. We're kicking off this series with data and how it integrates with today's next-gen operating models. Our guest today is Andrew Jacob. He's a senior consultant from Meradius data practice, and he's perfect for this conversation. So Andrew, how has the role of data evolved in the context of the modern operating systems?
It's a great question to start off, Chris. Data has really graduated from 5 or 10 years ago, where it was seen as an operational byproduct. It's now graduated to a critical lever in pursuing investment alpha, regulatory resiliency, and operational efficiency for firms. Today's operating models must be architected around agility and enabled by cloud-native platforms, intelligent automation, and a strategic data fabric laid over that. Leading firms recognize that data governance isn't overhead, it's competitive differentiation.
And that's pretty new in the world. Like, people are changing the way they're thinking. So, what are some of the foundational elements of a next-gen operating model as it relates to data?
Sure. Next-gen operating models really start with the cloud, not for novelty, like, hey, everybody's going to the cloud, we need to go to the cloud too. But it's about the scale and elasticity that comes with that to allow businesses to grow. And similar at month end, when you have large amounts of data at month and quarter end that needs to be computed, isn't it great that your environment can scale to that level but not slow down processing times? So starting with cloud is giving you the ability to do that. And then you have AI embedded within that for decision support, automation to reduce manual work and friction, and critically data governance to maintain integrity and trust. And this model has to be modular, and it has to be capable of evolving as business needs and regulatory requirements shift. It's not an IT project, it's a business strategy project with data at the center.
You mentioned data governance, so I want to talk a little bit about data governance and data quality. So what does proactive data quality look like in today's modern architecture?
It's a great question, because do we see this a lot out there? There's instances where we're beginning to see firms are shifting to this proactive approach, not about firefighting quality checks and dashboards that show things after the fact, but more starting to integrate the validation and observability directly into their data supply chain at earlier points. That means that quality checks are version controlled, automated, and executed early and often. And most importantly, the teams closest to the data are empowered and accountable for their accuracy. And the result? Fewer surprises, better decisions, and a governance model that scales.
How does data lineage and transparency contribute to better transparency?
Well, lineage is something that's often seen as a compliance checkbox too, like, hey, we got to do lineage, but really it's a strategic asset. It clarifies dependencies and it accelerates the impact analysis when things go wrong. You can quickly look upstream and downstreams to see if something happens, what led to it, and who's going to be impacted. And that helps quantify risk. When business users understand where data comes from and how it evolves, they trust it and use it more confidently. And when regulators and industry market data auditors come calling to your door, you will thank yourself that you had clear lineage installed, because it reduces both the cost and the complexity of your audit response.
Shifting to data fabric, what is your perspective on data fabric as an approach to modern data architecture?
Data Fabric offers a unified, intelligent approach to managing distributed data, as Data Mesh does, but without needing to reorganize around domains. It connects data across the silos through active metadata, automation, and real-time access, making it especially suited to investment firms with complex legacy systems. Enables firms to access trusted data without duplication, enforce governance across platforms, and accelerate delivery for initiatives like ESG and client reporting. Rather than decentralized ownership, Data Fabric focuses on centralized intelligence with distributed access, a model that meets firms where they are today.
How does the modern data technology stack support Data Fabric?
That's a really great question. Well, the modern data stack provides the foundation. We have cloud providers as well as different technology providers that can work with them to provide access and custom access that give you the basis for how your data fabric will just gather data as well as to standardize it and distribute access. And AI-driven catalogs enrich metadata, improve discovery, and data testing as well as staging technologies are there to help evaluate new queries and new quality controls before they're actually implemented, as well as give version controlling. So there's a clear record of what you put into your environment with what has led to where it is today. And this helps with when you have problems, you can clearly go back to see the track record of where that problem started and how to best remediate it. Together, these things just operationalize the data fabric, governance, lineage, and access. They're all embedded in the workflow, not layered on after the fact.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about AI and automation in data governance. And we hear so much about AI today. What role does AI play in the future of data governance?
Well, AI is already redefining how we scale data governance. It's already helping to classify sensitive data, detect anomalies, and to prioritize remediation. But it's not about replacing humans. It's more about augmenting their decision support. In our industry, with investment operations where data volumes are massive and timeframes are short, AI enables governance to move at the speed of business without sacrificing either quality or control.
So are there certain aspects of governance that are best suited for this type of automation?
Absolutely. Metadata enrichment, lineage capture, policy enforcement are table stakes for automation. However, we see value with our clients when they are automating access controls, catalog curation, and scoring data quality. And these aren't nice to haves anymore. They're requirements for operating efficiently in the hybrid multi-cloud environments that many of our clients see themselves in. Automation brings consistency. Consistency builds trust, and trust ultimately drives adoption.
Right, so shifting to data ownership and stewardship, what are some of the key aspects that data owners and data stewards must consider in a high-performing investment organization?
Data governance can't be a part-time job or generic function anymore. Data owners, who are typically senior stakeholders, are accountable for the quality and the fitness for purpose of key data sets. They make decisions about access, quality thresholds, and usage policies. Now, data stewards, they are the operational linchpins that ensure execution, maintain metadata, and engage with business and technology teams. Together, they provide data that remain as an asset, not a liability. Just to go back to that first point there, it's really important that as firms want to see success today, they cannot make these part-time roles. Putting more resources into the data owners and allowing them to have a full scope as well as a charter to empower them is what leads to success.
And that makes a lot of sense, and people have to think a little bit differently about those roles, so that's a good point. How do you operationalize these roles without going through lots of bureaucratic drag?
Right. Really, clarity and enablement are everything. Owners and stewards need documented charters, the proper tooling, and time carved out to do the job well, and even just need time to learn what it is to be a data owner. Firms that succeed don't overload these roles. They embed them within the existing workflows and provide automation support. One example is Snowflake's governance model. It allows policy controls to be codified and consistently enforced, freeing stewards to focus on value-added tasks and less manual work.
Given that we're dealing with technology changes and personnel changes and operational changes, there's a lot of change management that must come along with this.
Yes.
What are some of the most common cultural blockers that come up during these types of engagements?
Definitely there's a feel of loss from many of these data governance managers and teams from losing some of the manual work that they do. Really, it's the loss of the experience of the familiarity of that work and possibly the influence they have for fixing problems with this manual work and getting that thank you. And that fear is something that will hold them back because governance doesn't always have like this rosy opinion in the business. It often conjures images of red tape, not results. The antidote is a straightforward narrative. Governance enables speed, not slows it. It Executive sponsorship matters and is extremely important, but frontline engagement is where momentum builds. Show early wins, measure them, and tell the story over and over. That's how you get best results.
I feel like that could be a t-shirt. Maybe we should start making those. To show wins quickly, it really does drive a lot of buy-in from all different parties.
Absolutely. And in firms that have a challenging budget environment, it can actually help them win more budget as they continually show those wins, as well as the decision making of the people in the business that are leading it.
So how do you best bridge the gap between business and technology stakeholders, knowing that they may not have the same priorities?
Yeah, they're often seen as head-to-head or not collaborating effectively, but the key that we found is you speak the language of the business. For business, governance is about reliability, decision quality, and client trust. But for technology, it's about architecture, scalability, and security. The bridge between these is shared with metrics. Time to insight, incident response times, and regulatory readiness, something everyone can agree on. The best data governance leaders are bilingual. They translate strategy into operations and back again, and they speak both the priorities of both IT and the business to bring them both to the table.
Thanks for all your time and insights, Andrew. I found that conversation pretty enlightening. And I look forward to more transformation sessions with some of your team members.
As well as I do, Chris. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.